Our briefings this week, and I've got two people. I've got with me now Eddie Teare, Finance Minister, of course, and one of the items you want to talk about is VAT exercise. You're looking at getting all this information in from the public and mostly, I suppose, businesses who deal in VAT to find out if we're on the right agreement with the UK. Is that right?
Well, basically, towards the end of last year, we contacted over 1,000 households and asked them whether they'd be prepared to keep a record of all their expenditure for the following 12 months. Now, these households were selected on a random basis, right cross-section of our community, and we've also approached some businesses as well. Now, the basis of the VAT settlement with the UK has been agreed, but we need the hard facts, the information, to enable us to put it into the agreement, and then that'll, as it were, calculate our share of the VAT.
Well, no doubt I'm putting it to you that you'll find out that we're not getting enough back now, and you want to go and try and get some more?
Well, whichever way it is, whether it's more or less, it will be determined by the spending survey. The basic principle, Paul, has been agreed. The mechanics of how it's going to be calculated has been agreed.
That's dangerous then, isn't it? Because if it did show that we're still getting a good deal, this information could be used against you, could it not?
It could be, but it's fair, isn't it? And it's much easier to justify on a long-term basis if what we're doing, if the agreement is fair. And I've got no problem, no difficulties at all with the individual agreement, because basically it provides that we would get exactly what we'd be entitled to if we operated an identical VAT system to the UK, but we stood on our own 2 feet. So I'm quite comfortable with the agreement, and we just now got to wait and see the results of the spending survey.
I mean, it's interesting you say that. I mean, obviously it was a massive shock for the Isle of Man. I mean, come on, when you had all that money, it must have been amazing then, was it? I mean, if you're saying that you're quite happy to have a fair deal, it was totally unfair, was it?
Well, no. What the deal which we originally had failed to recognise is that our economy, which was very similar to the UK's economy, the structure of our economy in 1979, I think it was, when the agreement was reached, was very similar to the UK. But over the years, our structure of our economy has changed completely from the UK. We need to recognise that a large section of our economy now does not generate any VAT. For example, banking, insurance, and a large section of the economy now is zero rated or exempt from VAT, whereas in the UK it's only a fairly small amount of the economy. So we were in effect being paid VAT on an arrangement which was out of date. So I think it's only fair that these arrangements are reviewed from time to time. What we've agreed now, the basis is, in my opinion, fair, and we're just looking for the information to populate that agreement.
Well, let's quickly talk about how you're doing, how your coffer's looking. I mean, you're hearing that the health service may not be able to be continuing in its present form because of money situations. You haven't got enough money to keep us going as it was, presumably. So where are we?
Well, at the moment, we are currently negotiating with the departments on the budgets for next year. We were able to put indicative 3-year budgets in when I delivered the budget this year, so the departments have more certainty, so they're planning on that basis. It's going to be difficult to meet everybody's expectations and aspirations, and a good illustration of that is over the next 30 years the number of people over 65 is going to increase by 93%. So it's a big time bomb we're sitting on, and how we manage health, how we manage education and social care is going to be critical going forward.
And have you got a solution?
Nobody's got a magic wand. Nobody at all. The difficulty is when the National Health State Pension was brought in the UK in the early 20th century, the average person lived in retirement for 6 months. Now it's 2 decades. So that puts extra demands on our resources. And also too, when we're looking at medicine, drugs are more expensive, there's a lot more of them available, and procedures are more expensive too. So we need to work out now what we can afford.